So you love the power of Firefox containers, right? It's a game changer. But what if you're stuck using Chrome or Edge or Safari for work? You've probably felt a little left out. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really powerful cross-browser strategy so you can manage all your online accounts without any of the chaos. Okay, let's be honest. We've all had that heart-stopping moment. You're trying to juggle your personal account, your work account, maybe a client's account, and for that one split second, your brain just glitches and you post from the wrong one. It's a tiny mistake, but man, it can have some pretty big consequences. Yeah, that little moment of panic? It's actually a symptom of a much bigger problem, the constant friction and risk that comes from trying to manage all these different logins in a single browser. Always signing in and out, firing up incognito windows. It just kills your focus. There's got to be a better way. And for a lot of people, Firefox multi-account containers is that better way. I mean, it's fantastic for neatly separating all your digital lives. But, and this is a big but, it only works in Firefox. So if your company is all in on Google Chrome or you just prefer Safari on your Mac, you need another solution. All right, so if we're going to crack this code for any browser, we have to get our heads around the core principle that makes tools like Firefox containers work in the first place. And that principle, that little bit of magic, is called session isolation. It's actually pretty simple when you think about it. At its heart, session isolation just means that every single one of your accounts gets its own separate cookie jar. That's it. This is exactly why you can be logged into your work Gmail and personal Gmail in two different Firefox containers at the same time. The cookies from one jar simply can't see or touch the cookies in the other. And wow, this slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? On the left, that's the chaos we all know and hate. A million tabs, constantly signing in and out, and that nagging fear that you're going to mix things up. But then you look to the right. With session isolation and everything is organized, you can be logged in everywhere at once, and you just get this calm, focused way of working. It's a night and day difference. So the key here is that this isn't just about convenience. It's about fundamentally reducing errors, getting rid of all that digital clutter that destroys our focus, and just lowering the mental tax of switching between tasks. It really makes your browser start working for you instead of you working for it. Okay, so you're probably thinking, great, I want that. How do I get this Zen-like workflow in Chrome or Edge? Well, the answer is a simple but incredibly effective two-layer solution. I absolutely love this quote because it captures the entire strategy perfectly. Think of it like you're building a house. First, you have to build the big, strong outer walls to create totally separate areas. Then, once those walls are up, you go inside and add the room dividers to create specific rooms for specific tasks. And here's what that actually looks like. Step 1, build your walls. You do this using your browser's built-in profiles. This gives you that clean, complete separation between, say, your work life and your personal life. Then, step 2, add your dividers. This is where you use a session tool, and it gives you that superpower of logging into multiple accounts on the same website, all inside your work wall. All right, let's get practical. Let's talk about the actual tools you're going to use for each of these layers. Layer 1, building those big walls, is the easy part. Seriously, we're talking about native browser profiles. They're totally free, they're already built right into the browsers you use every day, and they're perfect for that high-level split. We're talking separate bookmarks, separate history, separate everything. And here's the best news. Pretty much every major browser you can think of already has this built in. Whether you're on Chrome, Edge, Safari, the new Arc browser, or Brave, you can go and set up this first layer right now for free. Okay, now for layer 2, the room dividers. This is where the real magic happens. This is where a session tool comes into play. Tools like Sendwin are what give you that Firefox containers superpower, the ability to log into multiple accounts on the exact same site at the same time in the same window. No more weird incognito window tricks. This little chart here really breaks down the who does what. Your browser profiles, they can't handle multiple logins on the same site. That's not what they're for. That's where a session tool absolutely shines. So profiles are for that big, broad work versus personal split, while session tools are purpose-built for those power users, agencies, support teams, social media managers who live and breathe multi-account workflows. Okay, so that's all the theory, but what does this two-layer system actually look like day to day? Let's jump into a couple of real-world scenarios to see how the rubber meets the road. First up, the social media manager. I mean, if there's any job that perfectly captures this multi-account nightmare, this is it. The problem is a no-brainer, right? They're drowning in logins. With our strategy, they just create one work profile to keep everything job-related in one place. Then, inside that profile, they use a session tool like Sendwin to open an isolated tab for each and every client. The result? A massive boost in speed and, most importantly, zero risk of that dreaded wrong account post. All right, let's switch gears to a more technical role, the L2 support engineer. These folks often have to be logged into multiple different versions of the same software, like Salesforce or Zendesk. For them, the headache is all about cookie conflicts and getting logged out all the time. But guess what? The solution is the exact same framework. A work profile keeps their main setup clean, and then separate sessions handle each software account. This completely eliminates those wrong tenant errors and saves a shocking amount of time every single day. And really, when you boil it all down, here's the big idea. Your browser should work the way your brain works. Your digital workspace should mirror your mental workspace. When your browser is organized by client, or by project, or by role, the same way you organize your thoughts, your work just flows.
So what's the play-by-play for you? It's simple. For most of you on Chrome and Edge, combining browser profiles with a session tool like Sendwin is the perfect stack. If you're deep in the Apple world, start with Safari profiles and just keep a session tool in Chrome or Edge handy for those heavy-duty parallel login tasks.
Look, if you forget everything else we talked about, please just remember this one formula. Profiles are the walls. They build a big, strong separation. Session tools are the dividers. They create the individual rooms inside those walls. If you get that right, you've solved the multi-account problem for good. And that really leaves us with one final question that you should ask yourself. After seeing all this, take a hard look at how you work. Is your browser actually set up to help you succeed, or are you constantly fighting it, working around its limitations? Because with the right strategy, you can finally get back in control.